Okay, I just want to run a quick test. For the next 5 seconds, I want you to picture a sheep in a field as vividly as you can, okay? Go. Okay, what score did you get based on this scale that you can see on screen now? 1 being that you didn't really see anything at all, 5 being that you saw a crystal clear image. Let me know in the comments what you got, but I'm going to tell you the score that I got right away. 0. This is how it looks in my head when I try and picture pretty much anything. That's because I have a thing called aphantasia. And it's not a bad thing, it's not an illness, there's nothing wrong with me. It just means that when I try to imagine things, I don't get mental imagery at all. Now, I didn't realise that this was a thing that I had until I was talking to my girlfriend recently, and I mentioned, when I was reading a book, I don't get any pictures in my head at all, and she looked at me like I was speaking Klingon. Kapla! And then that got us into a conversation about photography and about how we compose our photos and come up with ideas for photos. And my girlfriend's approach absolutely blew my mind, and mine absolutely blew her mind. We didn't know that we were both living at the other ends of this imagination spectrum. So I thought it'd make a really interesting topic for a video so that we can talk as a photography community about how our brains work and what different mental imagery looks like for all of us and how we compose our photos. So in this video, I'm going to go through what aphantasia is, how I approach photos, how my girlfriend at the other end of this spectrum approaches photos, and what that might mean for how we compose and how it might give us advantages in different ways. Let's start by talking about what aphantasia is. Now, it's nothing bad and it's not an issue, and it's definitely not a result of all the head injuries I received playing rugby over the years. It's just a different way of imagining things, and there's actually a spectrum of 4 different ways that you can imagine things in your head. You have aphantasia, which is where you can't picture mental images at all. You have hypophantasia, which is where you can kind of see a faded image. Phantasia, where you can see things relatively clearly, and that's probably the bracket that you fall into. And then there's hyperphantasia, where you see things vividly and extremely clearly in your head. Now, this is the bracket that my girlfriend falls into, and the majority of photographers that I know also fall into phantasia or hyperphantasia. So just in case that isn't you, let me walk through what my girlfriend's process looks like. She'll be sat on the couch or just somewhere thinking about photographs that she might want to take, and she's kind of building an image in her head. She's picturing places that she's seen nice buildings, nice reflections, where there might be a good spot for a sunset, and she's kind of building this image in her head and then goes out into the field to try and find the spot that best represents that photo. All of it happens before she presses the shutter, and then she goes out and makes that image happen out in the wild. And that can work really well because it means that you've kind of got a preconceived notion before you go out of the kind of photo that you want to get that day. However, it can also result in some disappointment because if you're not able to recreate what's in your head, if you've not put the blocks together in the right way, you can be disappointed. And she has said in the past that sometimes she's quite disappointed by photos she takes because they don't match the mental image that she's got. Now, as I say, this has never been my experience of taking photos in my life. I have no idea what it's like to picture an image in my head. So whether it's the photo over my shoulder there, or whether it's any of the other images that I've taken in my life, I've never pictured them before I've gone out into the field to do it. In fact, my process is slightly different. So I am pretty reactive to the weather. I'm looking for conditions outside that really inspire me. So if I look out the window now, it's raining, it's a little bit foggy, that'd be a good time for me to get out and take photos. From there, I will begin to think of places that I like to go. So there might be bridges, woods, forest, whatever it is, just different places that I would want to go and take a photo. And I think that might be why I kind of do like active outdoor photography. So I'm always walking around, I've always got the camera in my hand, I'm always looking for different shots. I can't sit still with my camera in my hand at all. Once I take a photo, I'm constantly looking to change it in the field to get feedback. So I like using my mirrorless camera because what I see is what I get. I'm looking through the viewfinder a lot and seeing like, does this line up right? Have I done this in the right way? And I'm trying to piece together a photo, almost like a jigsaw coming together, where I'm looking for, in the example of this image, there's a bridge, there's a reflection, there's a triangle shape. How can I piece those things together to get the result that I'm looking for? Now, this might ruffle some feathers, but I actually think my aphantasia gives me an unfair advantage when it comes to finding compositions. Why? Because I'm not tied to any notion of what the scene might look like. I have to try and build it. So that opens me up to finding different compositions and unique ways of approaching a scene. I'm constantly putting my camera down on the floor, lifting it up over my head, trying to like kneel down and squat down and get underneath things, get on top of things to try and find different angles. Whereas my girlfriend is a lot less tactile because she kind of knows the angle she wants to take the photo from. She knows where she wants that image to be, which is probably close to how like a painter works, I imagine, trying to put things together. Whereas with my camera, I can be really flexible. I mean, it results in a lot of bad images, don't get me wrong, but I think every photographer goes through that, right? You have to take bad images, you have to get through the bad ones to get to the good. It is process versus results. However, I think that it just gives me an opportunity to explore scenes in a different way to other people. So I'm interested to know if that's your experience. If you have aphantasia, how do you approach photography? Or do you fit somewhere in the middle of this spectrum and you're reactive to things, but you're also creating images that you've kind of thought about in the past and you have ideas from locations you've scouted out, let me know. I'm really interested to know what you think about this.